Hello and welcome to Reviews. As I mentioned in my previous video last night, I am working late and I'm actually in the lab here at work, so you may have some humming of the server equipment here, so hope it's not too bad. Uh, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the final issue of The Life of Captain Marvel. Kind of a uh, not really a retelling of her origin story, but filling in some stuff, kind of fixing the character. I don't know. Um, I've been following it. I think I've covered all the issues. I might have skipped one, or I might not have done videos on because it's hasn't really been that good. Um, there's a lot of damage control right now, I think, with Captain Marvel. She's got a movie coming out, and there's a lot of people in the comics community that do not like her. And so, she went from a likable, flawed character to this almost masculine, great at everything, tons of respect that she didn't really seem to earn. And then you see her actions in the series Civil War II, which was she supposed to be likable? Was that supposed to knock her down, and then she was supposed to build back up from that? Didn't really see too much of that, but I'll be honest, I gave up on her solo series a long time ago because they're just cancel it and give her another one. So, but yeah, since I am reading Avengers, I am exposed to her, and yeah, I'm going to say I don't hate Captain Marvel. I liked her better as Miss Marvel. I liked her as Binary. I liked her as a Warbird. And to be honest, I even like this costume. It's just when they draw her really manly, and I don't understand the whole thing right now. When I say right now, I mean over the past few years, where if you don't like her, that they made her less feminine, that means you hate women. Because the whole Carl Manverse meme that kind of popped out of the way they were portraying her. They even gave her the really short hair, which, I don't mind either way, but I do think she looks better with the long hair. They've gone back to drawing her with curves, which is that shallow? Maybe. But, she has always had curves, so. Anyway, let's go into this. As you remember, we find out that her mother was a Kree warrior. So Carol has always been half Kree. They've retconned this. And I have a number of issues with this. So yeah, we'll pop into this. As I mentioned yesterday, they are doing the Stan Lee tribute. So we do get the really I really liked a couple pages of black, and this is the perfect thing. So Marvel did not screw that up. So good job on them. So we start with a flashback. There's a bunch of flashbacks in this book going back to Carol's time in the Air Force, flying an experimental plane. Um, she's talking with Lawson, who I'm just going to tell you right now, in case you don't know too much about Carol Danvers' origins. This is Captain Mar-Vell. So, there's some of the dialogue in here is kind of bad. Where Carol says to him, "Don't ask me to explain any better than that, because I can't." And, he says, "Yeah, wait for it." It's like I'm waiting for the universe to show its face or show up and he finishes her sentence. "Recognize you? Sounds crazy, I know. No, sounds familiar." Eh, I don't know. I didn't care for some of this dialogue, and there's some uh, bad dialogue in here. But as you remember, at the end of the last issue, this Kree Keeper has taken her brother, Joe Jr., who's just woken up from a coma, and he's kidnapped her because um, her mother, Carol's mother, who is Mary L., turned out she was a Kree warrior all along. She abandoned her mission and, basically ditched, went AWOL, and hid on Earth. So she has been sent, she's been tried in absentia, and is going to be executed. So the Keeper sends a bunch of drones after Mar-Vell to execute her, and then flies off with Joe Jr. So Carol and her mother start fighting these drones, these self-replicating, perpetually regenerating clones. Um, she says, Carol says, clone drones, I don't know which of those words I hate more. And so, yeah, Mar-Vell has been, her power levels are a little low after, what she'd said. I'm not as young as I used to be, sweetheart, after her display in the previous issue. So she's punching the drones, Carol's shooting them. And I don't know, auto drones, perpetually regenerating, they're taken care of in 4 panels, and we see the aftermath. Uh, what So they're perpetually what does that mean? So they're making a mess of the town, and Joe Jr. has been strung up, and basically it's a trap, because even the Keeper jumps out and says it's a trap. I don't know if I mentioned this in the previous issue, but one thing that kind of bugged me, and this is going to sound weird, is the Keeper naked? Okay, I know it sounds weird, but let's go back to the previous page here. So we have her, drones conveniently placed, covering naughty bits. Her hair is doing the Godiva thing. Here it is doing it again. And we saw this in previous issues where they were doing this kind of self-censor, to make it seem like, she is actually nude because her skin and face are the same color. But then later on in the book, we do have a little piece of Gifas here covering it, but yeah, I know it's a weird thing. It almost seems like they're censoring it, but again, later on, it looks like it's not. So, and this whole plan here doesn't make sense. She sends the drones after them, ties Joe up to lure Mar-Vell to save him. You already had them right there. Why did you do this? Keeper, why did you take Joe? It's stupid. So, and then things get weird here. So, we have Mar-Vell grabbing Joe, grabbing her son. And what happened here? So she gets shot? Does she fly into something? Where's Joe at? What happened to him? She's grabbing him from high up. Does she drop him off? I thought maybe a page stuck. But no, where'd Joe go? So, yeah, then Carol has to grab her mother. And this is what I mean, like right here. So she's no longer naked. She's just like a full covering. So is she naked or is she not? I don't understand this. So they led into her, and still don't know where Joe went. He's just on the ground behind them. He's obviously not being held. So, they shoot her, and they lose control of the power. It's too much, can't control. And then we have, the Keeper kind of blow up. And so it kind of shoots them up. It shoots Carol way up in the air. But the weird thing is, her heart's beating. She's kind of knocked out. But she's got her hand out like this. It almost looks like she's flying on purpose. That's a very weird pose for someone who has been knocked out and is kind of unconscious. Her muscles are really tense. She's really straightened out. She should be ragdolling more. So then, of course, we go another flashback here to Carol with Mar-Vell. They're in space, and check it out, Doc. I'm flying. You're a pilot, Danvers. You're always flying. This is different. How come it feels so natural? So yeah, it's showing that Carol has always felt like she was something more. And yeah, so as she starts falling back to Earth, more of the heart-pounding thing. And this is when, in space, Mar-Vell lifts his helmet up, and Your helmet. How can you breathe? Um, how come his blood isn't boiling? I'm not from Earth, Carol. I actually am from a galaxy far, far away. That part was right. Now, in case you didn't know, Captain Mar-Vell is a big nerd, so Mar-Vell tells her, "You want to know the truth about star stuff, Carol? We're all made of stars, just not the same stars." I can't believe it. And this whole time she's falling. How high in the air was she? And again, she's almost falling like she's in liquid, arms straight. Uh, Kimbo here. Not momentum would have her arms if she was limp going forward, not stretched straight out. And so she's going through her history here. She thought she got her powers from Mar-Vell, and the psych magnetron hit. It was easy to believe the powers I gained were Mar-Vell's. Nobody knew the truth. My secret birthright. Not even me. Nobody knew that adrenaline surge of combat and blah 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 would awaken every cell in my body. They go through her costumes here. Notice they go through her original Miss Marvel costume, but not the later costumes. They don't show her Miss Marvel, Warbird. They don't show her binary. And so Carol's now coming to. She's flying back down, and here's where the Keeper decides she's going to finally put clothes on. She's going to armor up. And here's where it gets so cliched. So as Carol comes racing down to help her mother, the Keeper throws her spear as Carol is coming at her, and her mother gets in the way to intercept and takes it through the chest. I have a question about this. Mar-Vell, Carol's mother, is fist fighting her down in front of her. She's kind of on the ground. She throws the spear. How does she get that quick in front of it? There's a lot of weird pacing, staging setups that just doesn't make sense in this book. Now I know they do make a comment she's faster than light, but Mar-Vell also said she is weakened, and I know what you're getting to. You need to have the sacrificial mother here. So then it goes out to Carol goes out to avenge her mom. She's upset, and now that Mar-Vell's been killed, basically mortally wounded, the Keeper teleports away and just gets away. So Carol comes back and pulls the spear out of her chest. Isn't that the thing they always say you don't do? If someone's shot like this, you don't pull the object out like that. So Mar-Vell asks Carol to take her up, and because she knows she's about to die, and tells her, "You are your mother's daughter. You always were," and takes her to the lighthouse. First place I saw you with Pops, the real you. Truth feels good, Care-L. So does being together, Mom. I was with you always. There's so much I want to ask you, to tell you, about everything. Yes, about our powers, our people, our family. And so Carol asks, "What did you want when you came here from Hela? You never said. Ma, what was your mission?" "Oh, honey, wasn't it obvious? It was you. My mission was always you." Yeah, and the rest of the book is stupid. I'm going to skip the ending because it's basically just the epilogue, and how she doesn't see her mom anymore because she only sees her light, and the light's too bright for her eyes. And this story this is stupid. And basically Tony comes back, brings her back to the Avengers, and what's interesting is but this book has worked out the men in her life. No, let me say this. We start off with her dad, and I don't know how much he's been shown in previous comics, but she and her dad did not have a good relationship. That much is shown, and so it was she and her mother were tight. Dad was a problem. She got her powers from Captain Mar-Vell, but that's not the case anymore. No, she got the powers from her mother, so it's worked that male out of her life. It makes things, I guess, a little bit easier for her origin story because, I'm sure the MCU will be changing it so she's not so dependent on Mar-Vell. She's a hero in her own right. She's not like a next generation. She's her own woman. Okay, fine. But things don't make sense. You're telling me her mother, who was a Kree agent all these years, I think I said this in a previous issue, she knew her daughter had basically awoken. Carol doesn't really keep a secret identity. She never thought to talk to her daughter and say, hey, we got a little bit of a problem. I should tell you about your history. Carol Danvers was binary. She was a character binary after the whole Rogue incident, taking her powers. She had no attachment to her memories anymore, no emotional attachment. So she ended up going into space. She had more cosmic powers. And you're telling me it never came up then? When she kind of came back to Earth and, became, Miss Marvel Warbird again. Never thought to talk to your daughter about this? You never thought that was important? That never occurred to you that, hey, you're half Kree. And with all the scans that the Avengers are capable of doing, like Tony and all that, how to detect people or Skrulls. Okay, fine. They thought maybe it changed her DNA when she got her powers from Mar-Vell. But it never occurred to you that the test never showed that she was naturally half Kree. And her mission, her mother's mission was always her. Yeah, this turned into a mother-daughter story, and I think doesn't this writer write young adult, not young adults? What do they call that? Young is a young author, whatever they call that. I'm blanking. It's a late night, and yeah, this reads like that, and it just. It makes it really bad the way they're retconning. And of course, it just gets so cliched. Why not keep the mother alive and, maybe just completely lose her powers or something happens and the Kree Keeper says, okay, you're no longer worthy. You're no longer a threat. Keep the mother in her life. Why give Carol more angst now she has, both her parents are dead? And you could also have her mother giving her some more history about the Kree, about her life. Stupid. But no, now she has a personal nemesis in this Keeper, which I guess in her next series or the series after that coming in 2020 or the series after that coming in 2021, they'll touch upon that. This book was dumb. Trying to humanize her and make her a more likable character. I guess they kind of did that, but at the expense of messing around with her origin story. And, okay, fine, she's her mother's daughter, it's, yeah, whatever. But kind of working the men out of her life. What's wrong with that? Captain Mar-Vell is, was a great hero. And so yeah, you're going to distance it, and it makes me wonder what's going to happen in the Carol movie. So 4:00. This book, even the art, it's the pacing was kind of rough. All these flashbacks, because we have to work Mar-Vell in here just to show that he really wasn't that important. No, it was just the adrenaline surge of being attacked. All these little moments here, no, not important. And the art, like I said, there's some panels here where things don't seem to make sense. And so the art was okay, except for the stiff arm falling. Yeah, and then this is the way she should be if she's really falling, not this. That looks like she's flying, which she's doing again. And yeah. And how she got in front of some. This book's dumb. I'm glad this was a limited series. I'm glad it's over. 20 minutes. That seems to be about my average. I really need to bring that down. And so, anyway, this book's dumb. Ignore it. It's over. And She's got another series coming out, doesn't she? Is it already out? I don't even know. I don't care. So anyway, thanks for watching. Isaac, I'm going to get back to work, and I will see you tomorrow.